want to use your color.
Does he have the same phone as you? Dad. Does Isaac have the same? Actually, mine went hot Wednesday.
What's up, guys? How you guys doing? Happy Wednesday.
It's
Working
Wednesday,
out of
my dudes.
club with these bozos right here.
Hey.
Nah, they're actually amazing kids. They came in. They said we need to make some money. We need to go work for you. And they called me on the phone. They actually called me 6 times because I was busy and couldn't answer. And finally, I said, can we FaceTime you? And so he finally answered, and they said, hey, we need to make money. Can we work for you? Can you hire us? And I thought they were joking. I was in the middle of working, making shakes, doing what we do at the club. And so I said, sure, whatever. And I go home, and they were so excited that they had a job. And so they came in today, and they're working. They're washing dishes, doing some floors, and all that. And so today, Action, Heart, Mind Wednesday. As I explained last week, I think all three work together. And so as you change actions in your life, your mind and your heart changes. As your mind starts to think differently about things, it changes your action and your heart. Sometimes your heart's just impacted, and it changes the other two. And so today we're going to be talking about consistency. Come here, Kellen. And so we're going to be talking about consistency today. And it's funny, so I'm putting this together to talk about consistency and how it all, how action, mind, heart, right? Keep that in mind. And he has a shirt on. Didn't realize he had a shirt on until just now. And it says attitude, leadership, consistency, effort, which leads to belief, desire, attitude, which all goes together. And so working as a health coach, thanks, bud. We really you want to build disciplines in your life that you can be consistent at, right? Your lack of hitting your goals is a lack of consistency and discipline in your life. In fact, anything in life that you are not achieving, right? You can look at it and ask yourself and be honest, how consistent are you doing that? And so here's a definition of consistency. It's a steadfast adherence to the same principles, courses, form. There's consistency in its pattern, behavior, agreement, harmony, or compatibility, especially correspondence or uniformity among the parts of a complex thing. Consistency of colors throughout the house, right? So there's a definition, and what I like to do is the consistency in his pattern, behavior, agreement, or harmony. So harmony in your life really comes down to the consistency that you're building. And so I was trying to think of a good example, and I know, put this picture up there, my beautiful kids. And so our oldest is 8, our middle child is 5, and then we have soon-to-be 4-year-old who acts like she's 18 years old. But I was thinking about consistency and how that correlates to like action and attitude and the way you feel about yourself. So we know that if we're consistent at putting them down at the same time every single evening, they start building a routine. They just know when that time comes, it's time to start brushing your teeth, do your final snacks, whatever that routine is, and they go to bed. But I also have realized that the minute you stop that routine, that consistent behavior at that certain time, maybe you let them stay up a little bit later, the later they stay up, the more they get away from the consistent life that they know, the more chaotic it becomes. Those smiles in that picture are no longer smiles. And usually it's a lot of telling us what they want to do and not obeying. And a lot of times that same kind of same kind of pattern happens in our life, right? So when you're consistent at preparing your meals, right? Knowing what you're going to eat for the day, drinking your water, getting your protein number in, getting to the gym. When you're consistent doing that and you build that into your lifestyle, you're feeling good about yourself. You're having more energy. But the minute that consistent behavior stops, right, that's when everything starts falling apart. I've heard it in the terms of the slippery slope. And the slippery slope is simply the fact that when you have a consistent pattern of doing something, but then you take a break, it's harder to get back to it. In fact, we had a customer come in today, and they just got back in the gym after a few days, and we were talking about this. And it's that you're consistent going to the gym 3 weeks, 4 weeks, a month, 2 years, but then you give yourself that rest day, and that rest day feels so good. But if you're not careful, when the next day comes around, you remember what that rest day felt like, and the lies start to creep in where it tells you, it's okay if I take 2 days off. The same thing happens with your eating. Hey, I've been doing really good. I've been losing weight. It's okay for me to have this chocolate cake. And you have that one bite of that chocolate cake and you realize, oh man, you know what? I've been good for 3 months. I only had one piece of chocolate cake yesterday. Let's have the ice cream today. It's called a slippery slope. And before you know, and before you look up, and before you catch yourself, you're down the other way. And so, how does that play into the heart and the mind and the consistency? Well, I know from personally, the more consistent I am in areas of my life, the better I feel. Right? I feel better, more confident, productive. And when I become lazy, and if you read through Proverbs, the sluggard is the one that's poor. The sluggard is the one that complains. The sluggard, right? The lazy person who can't get up in the morning, isn't accomplishing things, doesn't have consistency or discipline in their life, their heart and their mind start to follow that pattern, right? And so, and I believe that's not how we're designed, right? When you're designed with a purpose that's bigger than you can ever imagine, but you're not living out that purpose because you're not willing to go through the pain of discipline, right? If you're not willing to make the sacrifice of discipline for your life, you're never going to see who you are allowed or able to become. And there's different levels of that. And we're all on different journeys, but if you stop that journey and want to live the life of a sluggard, then you're going to reap the benefits of that. So, how does health work? So, this picture right here is me 8 years ago. So, I was a Division I athlete. I was someone who worked out all the time through college. And I remember once I got done playing, I always enjoyed working out. But the girl I was dating, my wife right now, I remember said, "Hey, let's just rest." And I remember like having all this time in my hand and thinking I could go work out, but it felt so good just to sit there on the couch and do nothing. And before I looked up, right, years have passed. I was eating out a lot more than I like to, but the chocolate cake and the hot fudge molten cake from Chili's and all the desserts we would try tasted so good that when I looked up years later, the result was 30 pounds heavier than I should have been, having no energy. But then at the same time, because that was the lifestyle and the lack of discipline that I was choosing for myself, that's all I knew. So I thought that was just part of aging. And when I tried to get back into the gym and I was working out hard, but I wasn't getting the results, the lies were I'm big boned. I can't lose weight. I'm an ex-Division I athlete, and it was until this picture with my wife when she was pregnant taken, and my brother made the comment, "Who's pregnant? You or your wife?" Did something click, right? So something clicked in my head that he said that made me see myself differently, which led to a different action, which led me to finding Herbalife, which led me to lose 27 pounds in 6 weeks. I'll put the disclaimer up there that you can read because, again, that's not typical, but it's what's possible when you're willing to put your mind, action, and heart into something to change. And so even after that result, losing the 27 pounds, feeling incredible, all of a sudden I had energy that I didn't know was there. I started becoming a different person, right? You don't know how bad you feel until you start feeling good again. And so I started that journey, right? Well, even today, I've maintained, I kept that weight off. I haven't been a yo-yo dieter. I feel great. I've used over the last 8 years to run ultra marathons and transform my body in different ways. But I had to take my progress to the next level, right? You had to build more consistency and discipline and tying some screws. And it's not easy because I got comfortable at where I was at. And so I had to build some new disciplines. I had to make some better choices. And it hasn't been easy, but now we're starting to see more progress. So I explain that and show that because a lot of times you start building consistency in your life. You start building the disciplines that you need in your life, and you start getting results, and you start feeling good about yourself, and you start thinking differently about things. Your heart starts to change, and those are all great things. What you have to be careful about is when you get to that point and you stop trying to grow, you get comfortable on where you're at in life because you still have that purpose that you're called to live out. And so oftentimes when I just compare myself to where I was 8 years ago, it's easy to stay where I'm at. But if I can start comparing myself and raise my standards to where I was 3 months ago or 6 months ago, it forces me to get better and get uncomfortable again. And so I'm really excited because one thing I've always wanted to do, but for a lot of reasons, and I'll be honest with you, was fear, was doing jiu-jitsu. And I've studied it, and as far as like read about it, listened about it, and finally made the commitment a month and a half ago. And now there's like this tournament coming up. And even telling you guys that, because I'm probably going to go get my butt kicked. I didn't want to sign up, but decided to sign up just to get uncomfortable again, to force me to grow and learn, because it's so much more than just the art. It's the discipline it takes and the knowledge and the study, and then keeping my body in the right shape, right? Because you do get beat up, and so I can't be eating what I want and putting in my system what I want. I have to take care of my body. And so I challenge you guys this Wednesday, this hump day, wherever you're at, wherever your journey has you right now, is continuing asking yourself, and you'll hear this often from me, how can you get 1% better today? And how can you get 1% better tomorrow? And make that just a daily choice that you wake up and ask yourself in all areas, your spiritual life, your relationships, your health journey, your parenting, your work, whatever that looks like, how can you raise the standards for your life so you can start becoming the full person that you were designed to be? I'm a big believer, and you can call this whatever it is, but God is a remarkable God who has a higher purpose for us in general. And if this God created this whole world, I can't imagine what he has in store for us if we are just willing to hand it over and unlock the potential within us. And that takes all areas of our life, just not the ones that are comfortable. And so, man, I hope you guys have a great Wednesday. I hope you guys get after it. Thanks again for your messages. Love talking to you guys. Come say hi. Make a difference in someone's life. Someone is watching you daily. Let's go.